More than 2 nautical miles offshore is considered open water, and you may as well be 1,000 miles from help. You need some basic safety stuff. Now, what is required by law and by good sense? G'day guys, Jock here from Balo Marine. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about safety, about both your requirements through law, about what you need, and also what's a good idea to have. Now, I'm going to discuss the open water regulations or offshore. These apply if you're more than 2 nautical miles away from the coast. There's a stack of literature out there to help you along. This one here, from Transport New South Wales, it's got everything you need inside of it. And I'm sure the regulatory authority near you has similar literature. There really is no excuse for not knowing what's required. The internet's at your fingertips. Use that. Of course, top of the list is personal flotation devices or life jackets. Now for offshore, these need to be a minimum of level 100. Most of them you'll find level 150. And the gas bottles inside of them need to be free of corrosion and ready to go. Now these can be auto inflate. When you hit the water, they will inflate. Not always the best thing because you might cop a wave over the side and get very wet and they will inflate. Or you can have the self-inflate. Pull the tag and let it go. Let's have a look. Look at that, eh? Humpy. A good idea for these is to have leg straps in it so you don't float out of it. And as you can see, this canister needed to be replaced. It's suffering a bit of corrosion. Well, I've just taken that condom off, and this cylinder's in very good condition. So it's good to go. I'm going to put another franger on it. There's a spot inside your PDFs for you to put any notes down. So it was almost 2 years, that one. Very good. Ooh, blue one. Ooh. Oh, it's so strong. So you have to carry some flares offshore, some sort of distress signals. The regulations say you want 2 red ones for use at night, red handheld, and at least 2 of the orange ones for daylight use. There's also parachute flares, rockets, all very clearly marked how to operate. Basically it's usually just pull the cap off, extend something out or other, and do something else, something goes down. Now they've got to be in date. They've all got clear expiry dates on them, and they've got to be in date, of course. I actually figured that, well, better to have some out of date than none in date. But that's something you've got to watch how it creeps around. They're usually only valid for about 5 years, so yeah, that creeps around pretty quick. Get some nice little tubs like this, carry everything in. that you need. There's a few more. Yeah, these are great. This is what's known as a V-sheet. Goes without saying, it's a great big orange sheet with a big V on it, which means help me. I'm not going to fold it out because it's too hard to get back in. You can pick these up anywhere and they're very handy to drape over something. Another requirement is a compass. It can be mounted or handheld. So another requirement is a registered to your vessel EPIRB. It's got to be in date and not expired. You can test these. Made a little sound there. From here. So another requirement. These are very close to expiring. I've got to fix that up on the list. You need an anchor chain. Mine is on the bow. Fire extinguishers, of course, are a requirement on a vessel more than 2 nautical miles offshore. It has a motor and it's got to be compliant and in service. You have to have drinking water as well. It must be 2 litres per person on board. Alright, I got plenty. Need a waterproof torch that floats. Check. Another requirement is a working VHF radio. It's got to have some charts. These can be paper or electronic. Need an audible signaler. And like on smaller boats, you need a bucket with a lanyard on it to bail, as well as fitted bilge pumps, which I have downstairs, of course. So they're the minimum requirements required by New South Wales Transport in relation to offshore boating. Of course, there's so many other things you can have, you know, for extra safety. For instance, I've got the life sling here. Pull that out, bang, and throw that out in the water. It's not like a life buoy so much, it's more of a sling. They can, the patient can get it under their arms, and you can hook it up to a halyard and you can hoist them back up onto deck. That's the theory behind it, because it is extremely difficult to get an unconscious person onto your boat. And there's many different things about that. There's different sorts of stretchers and nets and things like that, but that's not what this story is all about. So this is a great bit of kit on the rail, accessible. Now and again I do have some throwing practice of it, because you know, you want to be able to throw it as far as you can, of course. Assortment of bungs for any hose damage or, you know, through hole compromise is very handy to have in a spot where you can find them quickly. I've also got some big bolt cutters, cut through any rigging. I've always got these wild images of the mast falling down, and there's a cordless grinder I use as well. Now the benefit of getting good quality PFD is it's got a built-in harness. You can see the attachment point there. If I just right here, what you want is so you got 2 clips in there, and I have some jack lines set up
most people will set up jack lines when they're offshore, which is really just a webbing or a wire that usually goes down the center of the boat, and you can attach to it. The other harness, I've got it, I don't know where it is at the moment, but it's got 2 hooks on it, so you can always be hooked onto something. So that's the harness and stuff like this. Got a strobe here, totally waterproof. This will just go for days. I wouldn't have it turned on, you know, usually it's only for emergency after you go in the drink. But now more common is people have personal AIS devices, so if they go overboard they can be plotted by their own boat or any other boats around. It's all very well and good to have a personal EPIRB, but if you do go offshore and go overboard, well, it's got to do all the satellite stuff, and then it goes back to Canberra, and then they've got to liaise a rescue, whereas the AIS personal locator, the actual mothership, if they've got AIS, they should be able to track you down. Yeah. I think what's most important about safety offshore, particularly if you're solo sailing, there's often a bit of fatigue and that as well. Just have a good think about everything. Don't rush your moves. You don't want to get hurt, you don't want to go overboard or slip. Think things through, and because you got to live with the consequences at the time. Have a set of processes that you can fall back on, procedures. Do things the way you do it and you're confident with, muscle memory and all that sort of thing. But you want to be careful with your motion around the boat, because you don't want to go overboard or hurt yourself or anything like that. You know, a hurt hand could, that'll be a massive inconvenience. Just many things, so you just really want to be careful about that. Try not to become blasé, you know, and respect for the ocean and nature. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and you got something out of it. I actually enjoyed putting it together, and it made me reassess a lot of my safety gear and look at some expiry dates and things like that. So just make sure you're compliant with everything. These are all minimum standards, so you know you can certainly go above that. But have a good think about things, have some processes, practice some things, and yeah, and we'll see you around for a long time, and hopefully you'll see me around for a long time. I don't know about John round. Well, I'd like you to like and subscribe, turn your notifications on, that little bell. And here at Balo Marine, we're thanking you once again for tuning in. Bye bye. Thank you. That's what it looks like when I clean it up. I'm sure the local regulatory authority near you also has similar literature. Well, they're the basic requirements by law of what your minimum